This is the new Le Beau Narcisse from Jean Paul Gaultier, and this is going to be my review of it. To understand why a new Le Beau is a big deal for me, we need to take a look at the original Le Beau and Paradise Garden. Both of these to me are summer and sunshine in a bottle, and both of these have been part of my summer rotation since I bought them. But let's talk about Narcisse, what it smells like, if it's a compliment getter, what the performance is, and how it compares to these. So we have bergamot at the top, musk at the heart of it, and tonka bean at the base. The first thing that will hit your nose, or at least what's hitting my nose, is a really smooth dose of citrusy freshness. You definitely feel this fresh and pretty smooth kind of powderiness coming through as well. This is citrusy fresh and a bit powder. However, I do feel that its citrusy freshness is not overly bright and intense, and instead a bit more on the smooth side. And the powderiness is definitely not of the heavy, super rich or deep kind. And I mean, right away in the opening, it really doesn't matter which other Le Beau you compare it to, it is quite different compared to the others. It doesn't have the intense freshness of Paradise Garden, and it does smell a bit different compared to the EDT, but parts of its freshness definitely reminds me a bit of the OG. But the main twist here is definitely the powderiness. And the other main difference right away is that I really do not pick up on any coconut. So this right away is different compared to these. And to me, that initial freshness and powderiness is definitely sexy freshness for summer. The more it moves away from the opening and into the heart of it, the more rounder and fuller I feel that freshness and powderiness gets. And you can definitely feel the musk coming through in a more intense way, and it basically feels like you have this mix of an almost creamy, slightly warm and soft kind of powderness around you with that what is to me extremely smooth kind of citrus. Now here's the thing, every time I spray this one on and after a few minutes I'm getting something that is slightly floral. However, as far as I know, there's really no floral notes. Maybe it's the musk that's giving me something softly floral. The vibe here is still sexy freshness for summer. However, the mix of freshness with that sort of a fresh powderness definitely gives this a different kind of sexy freshness compared to other sexy fresh scents. The drawdown is where that signature Le Beau Vanilla is pushing through quite intensely, and whereas the citrus in the opening did give me a bit of vibes from the OG, the drawdown gives me even more vibes of the OG with its quite intense sweet vanilla. And the drawdown is basically a combination of sweet vanilla, you still have a bit of that super smooth citrusy freshness, and the whole thing definitely is still a bit powdery, almost sort of a creamy powdery. The drawdown is definitely where the whole thing turns a bit sweet. The vanilla in the drawdown, like most of the Le Beaus, has this soft kind of amber warmth to it. I'm still getting a bit of something that is softly floral. However, the more it goes into the drawdown, the less I actually pick up on that. So I'm gonna get the compliments, performance, comparisons to the others in a short while, but let's move on to the vibe. Vibe wise, I actually feel that Le Beau Narcisse moves in the sort of the same direction as the OG. This is definitely, at least to my nose, sexy, sweet freshness for summer. And I do feel Le Beau Narcisse is something you spray on a summer day when you want a sexy, fun and flirty vibe on you. So is Le Beau Narcisse a compliment getting kind of scent? You basically get a very mass appealing, very sexy and very attractive dose of sweet vanilla mixed with a bit of freshness. I think the musk with its powderness in Le Beau Narcisse simply makes the whole thing a bit different compared to most other freshies, and basically makes it stand out with something I feel gives the whole thing more nuance and excitement. Whereas the OG stands out and gets compliments with that sweet vanilla, the powderness is what does the same in Narcisse. The performance, at least on my skin, is actually pretty solid, and I'm gonna rate the projection at least for like the first 1 to 3 hours, around 7 or 8. I'm gonna rate the longevity a bit higher than that, especially if I spray on close. But with that said, I do not feel that Le Beau Narcisse is a beast mode kind of fragrance, and performance can vary so much from person to person. However, on my skin, this is definitely quite a bit above average. So let's talk about the usage, so like seasons and occasions. What you're basically getting with Le Beau Narcisse is a mix of freshness, powderness and vanilla, and the whole thing is sweet and a bit ambery. I know someone out there will feel that its powderness is too deep or too heavy, but to me it's definitely not. And while Narcisse definitely has quite a bit of sweetness to it, I actually feel some of the others are sweeter than this. So to my nose, Le Beau Narcisse can definitely be used throughout the year, but to me with a focus on spring and summer. And basically what I feel when it comes to usage is that these two are extremely similar. I'm gonna use Le Beau Narcisse exactly the same way as I do to the OG EDT. And the same thing definitely goes for occasions. When you're going out on a summer day or night, summer date nights for sure, or when you're going out. And I do feel the performance, at least on my skin, is good enough to hold up when you're going out. So let's talk a bit about alternatives, and obviously we gotta take a look inside the line. And the first one I'm thinking of right away is the OG. The OG is basically a mix of freshness, vanilla and coconut, and the whole thing is definitely quite sweet. The OG Le Beau EDT has been a summer favorite of mine since I bought it. Definitely a must have if you absolutely love the scent of coconut. For a more intensely fresh version of Le Beau, you have the fantastic Le Beau Paradise Garden. This has the most intense dose of a nuanced kind of freshness in the whole line, but you still get a fantastic dose of that signature Le Beau DNA with coconut and vanilla. And these two, like I previously said, are some of my favorite scents for summer. Looking outside the Le Beau line, I definitely gotta mention Acqua di Parma Vanilla. This is also a mix of citrusy freshness with quite a prominent dose of vanilla. It's also quite musky with quite a prominent dose of powderness. So scent profile-ish, these two definitely move in the same direction. However, I do not feel they are the same. The vanilla definitely comes through a bit different, and Vanilla definitely has a bit of Acqua di Parma sort of a signature freshness to it, and that freshness is a bit different. I do feel that Acqua di Parma has a more classy vibe to it. So I've already compared Narcisse to some of the other ones, but let's do a quick one. And I do feel Narcisse has the most similarities to the OG, and one way to sort of describe it is that they kept the citrusy freshness and the vanilla from the OG. But of course, a big difference is that they removed that signature sweet coconut from the OG and replaced it with musk. So the OG is basically the coconutty fresh vanilla, and Narcisse is basically the powdery fresh vanilla. Even though I feel parts of the vanilla are the same in these two, Narcisse and Paradise Garden are very different. Paradise Garden is a lot fresher with a lot more nuance to its freshness. And Paradise Garden has that signature coconut, which this one does not. And comparing Narcisse with Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Le Parfum, I do feel these are quite different. Le Beau Le Parfum is basically the richer, deeper and slightly warmer version of the EDT. And comparing Le Beau Narcisse with Le Beau Flower Edition, well, these two are so different. So let's quickly go through price and the bottle. I paid around 140 bucks for 125 ml of this. When it comes to the bottle, I usually absolutely dislike too much sort of a bling. However, I kind of like this quite a bit. So what are my final thoughts on Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Narcisse, and how am I going to rate it from 1 to 10? So once again, Gaultier decided to move away from that signature Le Beau DNA with the vanilla and coconut. Le Beau Narcisse and Flower Edition are the latest ones without coconut. And while I absolutely love and obsess about the signature Le Beau DNA with vanilla and coconut, and while I would have loved for another version of that DNA, I actually feel this is a very cool flanker. I mean, I would for sure not have complained if they would have done another flanker with that signature DNA. But at the same time, I gotta be honest, I do feel it's quite cool that they decided to go with something different. And if you're a subscriber, come on, hit that subscribe right now. Then you know that I absolutely love well-made powdery scents. And Le Beau Narcisse basically gives me half of that signature DNA, but removes that fantastic coconut and basically replaces that coconut with a dose of musky powderness. And while I don't think Le Beau Narcisse is doing something revolutionary, there's no doubt that this is another sexy Le Beau. And right now, I'm gonna give Le Beau Narcisse an 8 or 8.5, something like that. Good job Gaultier on delivering another fantastic Le Beau. However, I'm not sure, you're probably not watching this, Gaultier. Please, for the next one, can we get back to that signature Le Beau DNA? What I'm trying to say is that I really crave and obsess about a new Le Beau that has coconut. So I want to know how you feel about Le Beau Narcisse. Do you think this is a fantastic scent? Is it a banger? Do you absolutely hate it, or do you think it's mid? Let me know in the comments. Please drop a like and subscribe for more, and make sure you check out my full video on which Le Beau is the best for summer over there.